this is dumb. I can't rotate. Okay, give me a second. Clean my damn phone. Oh, and then I need to get all kinds of notifications. And what is with all the notifications all of a sudden? Okay, I was going to set this thing up so I can actually put it on a tripod and talk better, but my internet at my house is horrible, and I was using my GoPro last time. This is the live stream if you guys saw the other day. It was a horrible mess. And so basically the GoPro audio was horrible, and then my internet was going so slow. My internet at my house isn't great. My internet at my shop's better, but then it quit the other day on me, and it was wasn't even probably 7 days ago. It was still September. Internet I went down to the shop and it didn't work. There's ghosts in my house. So go down the shop, doesn't work. I mess with it. I wait a day, maybe it'll come back. Doesn't ever come back, so I call. They can't send somebody out till October 10th. So I'll get it back Monday. So I'll start hopefully doing some live streams. I need to get a mic for the camera and stuff. But anyway, the last stream today, I just want to go over real quick. I see this I'm going to address topics that I come across on Facebook Power Stroke groups. And a lot of people will post up on there and say, hey, I'm going to bulletproof my truck, which bulletproofing doesn't really mean anything anymore because I don't care what truck. People act like it's going to cure their engine. They'll never have to do anything to it. And they usually neglect it, or they think it is something that will add a ton of power. All you're doing is strengthening your engine, really. Those engines make great power. I mean, you throw on a programmer, you make an extra 100 horse or more. And yeah, for a little bit of time, it's running great. And then eventually you have fuel starvation, you have injector failure, and due to lack of maintenance, you're pushing more power. Now you're going to wear the engine out faster. But anyway, people ask all the time, I'm going to do head studs, I'm going to do new gaskets, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And they go, what else do I need? And I'll just put, if your cylinder heads check out okay, take them to the machine shop. If they check out okay, have them O-ringed. It's what I've ran into. It's usually an extra $400, $200 a cylinder head. And knock on wood, I've not had any issues with any of those cylinder heads that I've installed. I've installed cylinder heads that have O-rings. All those guys are out there towing. They create way less pressure in the cooling system. They don't have any issues. I bet you that is almost a great fix, because I've seen a ton of people blow head gaskets on non-O-ring cylinder heads with, Ford gaskets or Mahle, whatever, however you want to, Mahle, that brand. I've seen people blow head gaskets on those with studs. But that's the thing, is the studs were a help. They weren't a fix. And that is the idea in the aftermarket, that studs are a fix. But if you talk to anybody that builds boost on anything, yeah, the first thing they'll do is throw some studs on there to help from stretching, because torque to yield bolts are not good. I mean, that's just the idea of them. Come on, you're stretching a bolt, and over time it's going to fatigue and wear out. Anyway, so studs are just kind of let's hope that they hold a little bit better, but they're not going to hold more power. They're not designed to withstand that. If there's still a defect the way the engine was designed, which we know the 6.0 only has 4 bolts around the cylinder. If you look at the head, you only have 4 bolts around the compression ring, basically, or sealing. If you broke it down into, like a 12 valve Cummins, you have 1 cylinder head per cylinder. And I think that's 12 valve. I don't know. I'm not a big Cummins guy, but I remember some of the Cummins were that way, where they had a single cylinder head per cylinder, and you could take that one cylinder off. Well, the 6.0, if you look at the head, it only has about 4 bolts holding it on. Well, if you go back to the 7.3, it had 6. If you go to the Cummins, they have 6 or more. The 6.4 didn't have it because it was just they were trying to improve on it. They increased the size of the bolt, but anyway, the 6.7 Power Stroke has 6 around it. It's a better clamping force. So basically, get your heads O-ringed. I mean, all your major brand of companies or machine shops that are selling quality cylinder heads offer them O-ringed. It's $200 a cylinder head usually. They may even throw it in if you buy on, a sale. You might find them on a sale. And my cat's doing something weird, sorry. These places recommend it. And I've seen tons of guys run O-rings and overboost and not have an issue. And that's one of the big things with the Power Stroke is the VGT Turbo. It sticks. Everybody knows they stick. They're going to overboost. And you put O-rings in the cylinder heads, you'll take care of a lot of that issue. But you can buy the cylinder heads already O-ringed. Would you rather spend $400 now or another couple thousand to go back into your truck? I'd rather spend $400 now, especially if everybody, Kill Devil Diesel. Who else? Kill Devil. Dynamic Diesel Performance. I think I just bought some from them. There's another one out there. J&K, I think it was Engines. They offer that upgrade, and because it works, I mean, why not? But it's an extra $400. It's just too easy. Over the years, I would do head gaskets on stock trucks, and I'd always test drive them before, verify that I didn't have EGR cooler fail that was pumping exhaust gases into the coolant system that made you think that you had head gaskets. And so there's numerous times when under warranty I had to remove an EGR cooler and test it off the truck, but Ford paid for it. And eventually they figured out a test. If you pull a vacuum when the engine's cold, you can test the EGR cooler, and most of the time that's extremely accurate. So I would test that. I'd go drive the truck. I'd put a pressure gauge on the cooling system. I'd drive it, and I'd go find the biggest hill and just hold it to the floor to climb that hill to hold boost. And you could almost, every time you had a head gasket failure, as soon as the boost started coming in, you just watched the pressure in the cooling system just rise, basically until it hit the cap pressure relief, and then it'd just stay there. So that was a really good indication that you had blown head gaskets. As long as you've checked everything else out and you don't have any other issues, then most likely head gaskets. So I'd do the job. If it was under warranty or if it was stock, basically tear it down, get the cylinder heads checked out. If they check good, reuse the cylinder heads. I'm real particular about cleaning the surface of the block and everything. I will, I know that say they're not supposed to, but I'll use a little razor blade and feel with my fingers around the block for any imperfections, and then I'll scrape with a razor blade, and then I'll also use like 1,000 grit. I think that's the most I'll use, 1,000 grit in a sanding block, and just run it across the block and clean it up real well. That way I get a real good surface. And then I still, I think if you guys watch videos, sometimes I'll throw a straight edge on, check the block if I suspect anything, it worries me at all. But I've personally never ran into a block warped. I'm sure there's some out there. So then I would install the new head gaskets, cylinder heads, head bolts, torque the head bolts, torque yield bolts, and you get it all back together. Truckers run good, and I'd put the pressure gauge on the cooling system again, and I'd go drive it and go back to that same hill and hold it to the floor and climb that hill. And there was times, I mean, you could watch as boost was coming in, you can watch that coolant system pressure build some. It wouldn't go to the cap pressure, but it would usually stop some. And you still knew that it wasn't clamping very well. And then I'd done the same thing with head bolts, or with the same job, but with head studs. And sometimes you'd get a creep up that, you know, worried you. You're thinking, is this thing still not sealing very well? You know, but you've done the job. It's not, you know, pushing coolant out the cap. Customer takes it. They have good luck with it and everything. My cat is driving me nuts right now. And, you know, you still know in the back of your head that they're probably going to fail eventually again. And that's why everybody sees so many repeat head gasket failures on these. So then ever since I, you know, locally my machine shop started offering it, and I could get it done on, you know, you can get it done on cylinder heads that you have shipped to your house. Every time I do head gaskets on one of these trucks, I say, I'll only do them with O-rings, because it basically guarantees that they're not going to blow head gaskets again. I mean, yeah, could they overheat the engine, warp it? Yeah, you're going to have an issue. But as long as they take care of the truck, which most of my customers do a very good job at, you're not going to have any issues. And I've put that pressure gauge on these trucks after I drive them. You're lucky to see like 8 PSI in the coolant system, 8 to 10. And that's after a full, you know, you find the biggest hill and you run it up the hill. Yeah, as you're building more temperature over time driving, could you build more pressure? Yeah, you can. But you don't watch the coolant pressure build with the boost at all. I mean, it comes up slowly, but it's not like that linear, you know, you just watch the gauge move, the pressure gauge move with the boost. So that doesn't happen. So that's why I highly recommend, if anybody's doing head gaskets on a 6.0, shoot, if you're doing them on a 6.4 and you can get them offered, I'm not a fan of 6.4s. Any of my customers that ask about 6.4s, I tell them to stay away from them, because people get in arguments. Well, that's another video. But basically, if I'm going to do head gaskets on a truck, on a diesel, I'm going to most likely recommend, if we can get O-rings, we're going to do it. Because if you've blown head gaskets already, if you're building more power than stock, you're probably going to blow head gaskets again. So you might as well get them O-rings. So it's $400 insurance. It's worth it. It's so worth it. It's just unreal. That's the one thing that for the longest time, nobody knew what the real fix was for 6.0 head gasket failure. O-ring your cylinder heads. You will thank yourself after you've been driving for thousands of miles and you hook on, you know, it comes to hay season, you got a gooseneck full of hay and you hit the hill and you've got to put it to the floor to get up that hill and you're running almost full boost up the hill. You'll be fine. I've talked to many guys that I've done work on, and they've done that. They said, hey man, truck's running great. Hay season, had a full load of hay, had to go a hill, and it never had an issue. Didn't puke any coolant. I love to hear that. So anyway, if you guys have any questions, shoot me some comments. I got 1 thumbs up. I don't think, do I have top chat? Where's my chat? Live chat. Anyway, I guess nobody's doing anything, so I guess I'm that boring. But anyway, got 2 thumbs up. 1 person watching it, so. Anyway, okay. Let me know what you think next topic should be. I don't want to make these things long unless we get a lot of people on here asking questions and stuff. I don't know. What's the next thing? I don't know. I guess maybe the Blue Spring. upgrade or whatever everybody says. I don't. I that is. It's probably the easiest, but I don't know. The Blue Springs okay, but people act like it's the savior. There's just so much. It's like the 6.0 has got a lot of bad rap about just use bulletproofing as an example, and so people say, "Ah, I did the Blue Spring upgrade." Like that's going to cure all their problems they've ever had. Their truck doesn't start. Well, I did the Blue Spring up. I got the Blue Spring upgrade. Should I do that? Dude, what? Anyway, whatever. Let me know what you think. I don't mind. This is actually later than I planned. This is about 4 hours late. Got behind on a job. So Ed Hansen asked about head stud brands. ARP is definitely my favorite. I don't recommend buying anything off like Amazon or eBay that's cheap, that's not name brand. I wouldn't even recommend anything off eBay or Amazon unless you're buying from a reputable company that you're getting a quality part. Like let's use XDP Diesel. Let's say they have you like to buy on Amazon. They sell stuff on Amazon, and you're buying from XDP Diesel. Okay, that's understandable. So then you're getting a quality part. But if it's some no-name brand, don't do it. I used to do used car work for a guy that would buy a lot of 6.0s, and he'd always first thing he's like, let's get head gaskets on it, and he'd buy just cheap head studs, and I couldn't tell you how many. We would have an extra set of head studs for every time a head stud broke when I was torquing. I just had an extra kit that I'd pull that head stud out and put one of these other ones in. They were that bad. And I think I saw a report or read something a guy said on a forum that a guy was torquing it and it broke and shot across the shop. I could believe it. I had them snap. I've never had a factory head bolt snap, but I had these aftermarket head studs snap. So definitely ARP. I think there's another brand out, Gator. I think now there could be some others, but I just stick to it. It sucks because ARP just keeps going up in price, but they're known for quality. But Gator clamp or Gator, I don't know. Your experience with Felpro gaskets and O-ring heads. I don't think Felpro makes them anymore, but Felpro used to make a fiber head gasket for the 6.0 with a steel compression ring. Those are junk. I saw those fail left and right. It was unbelievable. I'd tear those apart, and people would be like, I just put head gaskets on. I don't know what happened. I'm like, why didn't you use the factory style head gaskets? It's designed to have a multi-layer head gasket, and you're using a paper, a fabric, compressed fabric or whatever paper. Why would you use that? When I O-ring, I just use Ford Motorcraft head gaskets. Obviously, if you have a 20 millimeter or 18 millimeter, you'll have to find that out once you pull your cylinder head off. But I don't know why I'm not seeing stuff. But you'll have to find that out. But I just use what is going on? I just use factory head gaskets. I don't have any issues with them. So I'm having all kinds of problems here. Oh, there we go. Head stud brands, your experience with Felpro. Thanks for your videos and helping out the community. Hey, Ed, I'm glad I can help. It's unreal the amount of, I wouldn't say bad information. People are trying to help out, but they're going off of what their buddy said or what they read, and they have no actual real experience working on these things. I don't have a ton of experience on high horsepower applications, but a lot of the high horsepower stuff trickles down into the everyday driver application. And that's where I then, the guys were using O-rings and high performance long ago and been using for years. And now it's been a trickle down. And so when you get to experience it and actually use it and know it works, then that's good. But okay, I'm going to try to do this more. Shoot me a comment. Let me know what you guys want to talk about next. And I will see you in the next live stream. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later.